Hello friends, we get a special guest today. Please meet Veronique.
Hello.
You know me, I'm Nick, and today Veronique, we can make poems. And we are both teachers.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes. Veronique, are you originally from France?
Originally I'm from France, but I'm also a US citizen. I've been living on and off in the United States, mainly Los Angeles and New York, for the last 25 years.
Wow, that's cool. And so which place do you like more, can I ask?
Well, I've always been quite attracted by the sunshine. I'm a sunshine worshipper, so I have a little advantage for living in Los Angeles, where the sun is always shining.
Right, but you might be like having a lot of students. So who are your primary students? I mean, what are they mostly?
So mainly I have a master in English and Spanish from the University of Bordeaux in France, and then as a former flight attendant for main US carriers, I developed also language skill in Italian and German. So I was actually a language speaker on board my flights for French, Spanish, German and Italian.
That sounds incredible. Looks like you speak all the languages in the world.
Yeah, all the languages, a pretty face, and just waiting for my star on the Hollywood Board of Work. Just kidding.
And a fascinating sense of humor. I liked it. I like it indeed. Well, the challenges I, for example, face when teaching students is, of course, consistency. The thing that a student have to do it every day. So at least for 5 minutes or 15 minutes a day, they have to study. Sometimes they forget to do it because the sun is shining and the weather is fine, so they can go and jump in the swimming pool and forget about studies. What are the challenges your students face?
So always have to keep them very motivated. I think opening a honest communication with the students and being enthusiastic and being very supportive, and also three-way communication between the students and the parents. It's a key for my students to raise their academic skills.
Wow. You mentioned the parents, and how close should be this work of a teacher and a parent?
Well, it's it's a three-way communication, and parents want their kids to achieve academically, and my position as a teacher, I want them to be also to achieve, and languages are essential in this life. They can travel all over the world, they can communicate, they can broaden their horizons, and this should certainly a step ahead in their professional life and in their personal life, and they make them a better and a more knowledgeable person.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Well, let me ask you then, if teacher is such an important job and languages are so necessary for the people, so why teacher is commonly a person who is struggling, some fireworks, who is struggling to make ends meet?
Well, the financial aspect of every career is not the most important. The most important thing in your career is to do what you love, is to be passionate about your career, and so the financial aspect is quite secondary. First, you must do what you love, and then you'll be fulfilled as a person.
Mm-hmm. Right. And may I ask, who gave you this attitude from the very beginning? I can share a bit about myself, because I was born into the family predominantly of teachers. And for example, my mother used to be a teacher. She used to teach at a secondary school level, and then my sister became one as well. And I was attracted to their experiences because they were like highly venerated by adult students who came to the individual private classes. But what about you? What gave you this perspective?
I think learning a language is it's very fulfilling. It broadens your horizons. It gives you you can function much better in a multicultural environment. You are dealing with several all kind of situation, and you are more prepared. And you're also more prepared to every thing that come along your path, and also it makes you a better person. It makes you more understanding, more flexible, more adaptable, and it brings you happiness in your life.
Oh, I see that. Well, we have just completed watching the last game. By the way, congratulations, France won.
Thank you.
Are you happy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ecstatic. May France win the next Olympic Games, and may we get 3 stars now on our French jersey.
I'm sure, and France will achieve that with your support, of course. Let's think of like the aspect you just touched was multiculturalism, and do you think in Europe it's becoming a problem? For example, what I just came across is the discussion that the victory brought to France was won by black players, and most of them not originally French, and so there are some attitudes like France may have like attracted only migrants who are like the best at something. Yeah. So what is your attitude to multiculturalism? Is it winning or is it losing?
Well, multiculturalism is absolutely winning, but you know, everybody living in France have to adapt to the French, to our great civilization. They have to feel like they are wearing 24 hours, 7 days a week the French banner, and they are very proud of being a French citizen, and they have to adopt the French culture.
And of course the wonderful French cuisine.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Maybe we could talk about a bit about French cuisine. When I'm in France, where should I go?
When you are in France, you know, every region in France has its own specialty. So it's hard to, it's made of exquisite sauces and spices and years of civilizations, and so you have to try them all, and then you may have your preferences, but you have to be open-minded, and you have to savour every dish that is at your disposal.
Well, yes. I think the special piety that one place attracts is, of course, Saint-Tropez. Even I know that a couple of my Facebook friends are there right now. So, hello, friends, enjoy Saint-Tropez. So, is it a special place for you as well?
Yeah, Saint-Tropez. Every place, you know, every department in France has its own customs, has its own history. So Saint-Tropez has its own. So you have to discover all of France and our département d'outre-mer, of course, and the great French civilization and history and culture and our wonderful roots.
Oh, yes. Now, if you don't mind, let's get back to teaching. As for me, I've been doing teaching full-time for several years, but before that, I would think, oh, maybe teaching is not a good profession because it is difficult to get by, just to survive out of a couple of lessons, and then there's a lot of material. So, what is your perspective?
Well, I think teaching is definitively a wonderful choice, a wonderful career, but you need to have always look at the positive aspect, and you need to be very motivated, and you need to encourage your students, you need to listen to them, and you need to support them, and communicate also with the families. And so it's a full-time job, certainly. It's a 24/7 job, and you need to be passionate about what you are doing.
Can you please mention your best and your worst experience of working as a teacher?
Well, my best experience is to see my students that have some difficulties overcome their difficulties by their hard work, their trust into my teaching skills. So really it does motivate me to further my career in the teaching business. And of course, sometimes the lack of discipline is slowing down the teachers. So teachers, students, and parents have to work together hand in hand to achieve, to go over and beyond the academic skill of the students.
Well, that's that's a very concise way of putting it. But what is the optimal number of students in a class, and what is the best timing of a class? Is it morning or evening?
Well, I'm mainly concerned about I mainly teach students from high school, so I follow the schedule, the morning schedule up until mid-afternoon. But sometimes, private tutoring is a good way to go, and one-on-one is already very fulfilling for both parties, the teacher and the students. So actually, you have to know where you are at your best. You have to know your student's behavior, where he's feeling at his best, and then you have to go along those schedules.
Mm-hmm. Now, online education is becoming a big thing. It is ever increasing, and we know such platforms as Coursera. For example, I've completed several courses at Coursera, even almost completed the one giving you a TEFL certificate, certificate of teaching English. Then there's also TEDx and many more. How do you think it is going to work in the future?
Well, now everything is online. All the kids now have their own iPad. You interact with the kids on their iPad. You correct their homework on their iPad. You give them homework on their iPad. So for the moment, it's the thing to do. So just follow it, do the best you can. And but of course, the one-to-one, the face-to-face interaction is indispensable and very important.
Yes. So giving attention to individual needs of the student.
Absolutely.
Right. But how do you do it in a huge class?
Well, good discipline, good communication with the students, sharing the same goals, and being always supportive, and raising your students' attention.
Oh yeah, I can't agree more because attention is everything today. Well, as for me, it was a bit easier because I created these funny situations, and like this is how I attracted the students' attention and make them think to adapt into the situation, so they wouldn't have time for anything else, for any
Distraction.
yeah, distraction, and like how would you how to say for example, if you had a class right now,
I
and
mean,
there
you
are,
have to be very confident in your teaching. You have
Yeah.
to be strict. You have to ensure that the students abide by the rules, and you have to be nice, friendly, but strict, confident, self-assured, and ensure that they listen to you.
with me, it worked very differently because I'm quite privileged because I mainly work one-on-one, and it is a very informal conversation always. And I often, well, I sometimes wear a tie, but not often. So it's a T-shirt or just a shirt. So it's a very informal conversation, and we started through a dialogue. So can you imagine yourself teaching in this, like a relaxed way, like a cool teenager, for example?
Yeah, as long as you know what you are teaching, as long as you know what your students' goals are, what are your goals, and you stick to your curriculum. I don't see any face-to-face. Of course, it's more personal, and you can adjust to the student's personality and vice versa. So actually, it's an easier part of teaching.
Right. Can you mention which countries you taught in?
Well, I taught many in the US and in France.
Okay, and which did you like more?
It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't depend on the country. It depends on the atmosphere, the environment you are teaching in.
Could you please expand on that? Maybe give some impressions of yours from a class here in Los Angeles and also in France.
Well, I cannot give a very specific example. It depends on the atmosphere of the class. You have to adapt to the background of the students, their goals, the multicultural aspect. So, and you have to just ensure that there is like a special relationship between you and your students.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Relationships really matter.
Okay.
I have an idea. Why don't you teach us French?
Well, it's wonderful, but I have to go very shortly. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you, and I wish you the best of luck. And definitively, I enjoy conversing with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you so
Véronique.
much. Thank you.